Hello again. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I'm going to be talking about how getting laid off changed my entire life. I moved to Minnesota from Chicago in 2023 to work as a marketing coordinator at a pretty big local ad agency here. The company focused on like traditional media, which I had no background in. And I got a little bit of training, but it seemed a bit unorganized, I would say. The training was fine, but like when I came out of it, I still didn't really know much about it. And after 6 months, the company merged and we acquired another company who did the more creative work, and that's what I really liked. And so once we acquired that sister company, which was more like fashion and like it was just like cool clients and like cool events that we would do, and I really liked that side of it. So there was a position for a marketing coordinator opening up for that role, and that was internal. So I basically applied for it and got it. So my time was split between the regular company and then our sister company. I slowly started noticing the toxicity of the company culture, and I knew that not every job that everyone has is going to be 100% the entire package. Good salary, great location, great clients, great work. So I know that sometimes you might have to sacrifice one of those things, but I just knew that, this was slowly starting to become something that I didn't want. My boss from the sister company was great to work with in the beginning, but then she would sometimes call me really late at night and like on weekends sometimes, and she would just rant about certain things like for the website because it was a newer company, so our creative team was working on her website, and she would just call me and be like, I hate how this looks, I don't like this, and I would take her call and I'd be like, okay, like what, like who can I contact to like, fix this, like what do you want me to do, what are any action items? And then she would be like, nothing, I just wanted to rant. And I was like, okay, well, and even my friends were like, that's really weird that she calls you so late just to rant, like you're not her therapist. And I was like, oh no, it's fine, because I still really liked the creative work, and I knew she had a big impact on like in the Twin Cities community. And then one time she also texted me at like 7 a.m. saying, hey, can you pick up my prescription from Target? And I was like, no, I'm going into the office, like sorry, I'm busy. It was just little things where I started to realize, okay, this is weird for a boss to text me, like someone in like a leadership role to text someone in like a marketing role. I'm not your personal assistant, respectfully, like I'm not going to be doing these things for you. And I started to hate the work that I was doing because of the traditional media side of it. I didn't understand it. I didn't like it. It wasn't in my background, so I didn't really want anything to do with it. People would always tell me to ask questions, and I sometimes would, but I also slowly started to realize that it was so, like, I would also like have eyes and ears everywhere. I noticed so much gossip going around all the time, like internally and about our clients, and like shit talking, like making fun of, and I would feel anxious to ask questions because I was just nervous about people making fun of me or being like, oh my god, you already asked this before. Like really, like no one ever said that to me, but I was just getting anxious because of the things that I was seeing and hearing. I also wanted to move full-time to the creative side of the company, but I got told multiple times that that wasn't the job that was paying me, so I wasn't really able to enjoy the creative side of it as much either. Fast forward to Thanksgiving this past year, I had a meeting with HR and my supervisor because it was one of our quarterly meetings, and they basically told me that they didn't need my role anymore, and that they were like cutting out my role, that they just didn't need it. I literally started crying. I am huge on not crying in the office, for myself at least, and that was like the first time I cried in the office. I felt so shitty, and it just sucked because I knew that I moved to a different state where I knew two of my girlfriends from college, and that's it. My family is not here. I don't have any family here, And that just felt really scary because I was like, okay, I moved here for this job and now I'm not gonna have a job in a couple weeks, and I have rent to pay, I have bills to pay, and I just felt so like baffled and like shocked. And then they ended up telling me that I can either take this layoff and then they slid like a job description to me. They're like, or you could take this role. And it was to be the personal assistant to the CEO of our sister company. And then that made me cry even more because I just felt horrible because I'm like, okay, well, my entire like life plan is to become chief marketing officer one day, and this is literally messing up my entire life plan. My life plan, no hate on personal assistants at all, because that is a hard job, but that's just not what I wanted to do. And I asked for the personal growth. I was like, okay, well, if I were to take this job, what would the personal growth look like? What is the track plan? And they told me, okay, well, if you're a personal assistant, then you could be senior personal assistant or like executive personal assistant. And I was like, okay, well, that's just gonna be me doing more things. Like my promotion would lead to me doing more things for the CEO, and I did not want that. So I ended up passing on it, and I told my parents, I'm like, I'm just gonna take the layoff. Like, I'm not going to give myself a demotion just for a paycheck. This does not align with my plans in any way. I'd rather just take the layoff. So I actually ended up not even getting unemployment from them because they lied to unemployment and said that I violated company policy, and no matter how much proof you have, no matter how many documents you have, if you violate company policy in any way, if the company just says you violated company policy, you automatically do not get unemployment. And so that, thankfully, I was only laid off, like unemployed for a month and a half, so it wasn't anything major, but I think it was around like $4,000 to $5,000 that they owed me. And in hindsight, looking back now, it's really not a big deal, but I was just very frustrated because of them lying. And I also had to tell HR to give me documentation, to which she responded like, why do you need it in writing? And I never really got off good terms with the HR person at the company because she was, I think, a childhood friend of the CEO, and it was just a weird relationship. I know that she also gossiped a lot around the office, and I've heard that from multiple people. And now looking back on like Glassdoor reviews, once I was laid off, I was like, okay, so it wasn't just my experience, like other people have experienced this. So once I was fully done at the company, I was a wreck for a couple weeks. I was just in the apartment, moping around, crying like almost every day, if I'm being honest. And I just felt really shitty because I didn't have a routine. I didn't have anywhere to go. I wasn't making an income. It was really hard. And after 2 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks, I was like, okay, you need to figure your shit out and get up, at least go to a coffee shop around like 8 or 9 in the morning, get into a routine. Like, I just felt crappy mass applying to jobs, like sitting on the couch in like loungewear. I was like, okay, dress in like business casual, or put like a nice shirt on, jeans, go to a coffee shop and apply. I just needed to get into a routine, and I'm very big on law of attraction. So, I wanted to put good energy into the world because then it's gonna all come full circle back to me. And that, honest to God, did work really well for me. I posted a lot on LinkedIn about, me job hunting, and I ended up finding a couple local recruiters, and they had really good contacts and connections that they connected me to, or they would send me job recommendations. I ended up getting, within the month and a half I was laid off, I got 3 offers from 3 different companies for like marketing manager roles, and I ended up taking an interview with my current company for a sales position that a previous coworker sent me. And I'm not really big into sales, so I really wanted to work at a magazine. That was my goal. And I was like, okay, I'll take this role, I'll take the interview. And once I got the interview, I chatted with our sales director. And I was like, everything went well. And then once I came into an in-person interview, I was honest with her. I'm like, hey, I'm not really digging the sales side of it, but I saw that you guys have another opening on your marketing and events team. And so she pulled in our director of partnerships, which is my now boss. And I loved chatting with her. And then after my initial meeting with her, she called me back in, and then I met with her one-on-one. And then that same day she called me. I told my boyfriend, I was like, I feel like I got the job, but I don't want to jinx it. I'm not kidding. 20 minutes after I came home, she called me. She was like, we would love to offer you the role. She was like, I got really good vibes from you. I feel like we would mesh well together and work well together, and I got the job. And I was over the moon excited. But let this be a lesson to you guys that, like, just keep applying. I promise you, you will get that dream job. Make connections on LinkedIn, post on LinkedIn, like, get your engagement up on LinkedIn. I promise you, the right person is going to see that you are looking for a job. The right person is going to see your application for that job, and you will get it. I promise you. But I might make another video about how I landed a job on LinkedIn, because I've gotten tons of interviews and callbacks just by applying on LinkedIn and posting on there myself. So let me know if you guys want another video. But if you guys have any questions, totally feel free to comment down below or reach out to me personally through my email. Thanks, guys.